Ladies and gentlemen, guess who's back? Yes, one more round with Pete Wall and Pillar to Post before Midwest Pro Wrestling tonight on Bomb Pop Overdrive. Ooh, have mercy. Strap one on. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But a little announcement for you. And I've been thinking about this for a very long time. Next week, and it's going to be on the weekend, get ready. And I'm going to ask you something that you guys, some of you actually, have a very hard time doing, and that's trusting someone. I want you to give me your trust. During the next week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm going to be putting together storylines. And I'm going to play those storylines out for you in a very special edition of RWO. There's not going to be any interaction between manager and avatar. There's not going to be any suggestions on what your character's going to do, what they're going to be about. There's going to be things that are going to happen in the show that you could either hate or love. But I'm going to show you the true side of the wasteland. I want you to take the ride with me, with my insight, my thought process when I'm thinking the wasteland, when I'm thinking RWO. Now, I've been thinking strongly about it, and I've always loved doing the commentary with 2K18, 2K17, 2K19. I don't exactly want to stop doing what I love doing, but it's not going to be a weekly show. I want you to let me guide you through what the wasteland is supposed to be. I want you to trust me that I won't abuse your character in any way, shape, or form unless I've spoken to you personally. I want everybody to see what RWO was supposed to be all along. And I'm going to make a very strong suggestion. When you come to the chat, come as a fan of wrestling, a fan of storytelling, a fan of art. I want you to come to the chat expecting to be wowed, expecting a spectacle, and expecting a greater sense of where my mind goes when I think wasteland. I will not be engaging with the chat in that show. I will have a moment before the show where I address everyone, where I talk to you as fans, as the community, and as yourselves. Now, if you don't want to be a part of this show because you're not trusting where I'm going to be going with it, that's all right. Let me know. Also, don't expect to have the entire roster on this show. I will be picking and choosing members of the roster I want involved in the show. I'm going to be telling a story throughout the entire show of those wrestlers I've chosen, who they are, what they're seeking, and why this is going down. I want you to all understand the mind process of what it takes to be in character and out of character. Now, for a while now, I've kind of felt like I've had to play a bit of a principal role, and I'm not talking about everyone. I'm not gonna say names, but there's been too many times where real life issues, and I'm not talking about heartache and worry over illnesses and children and so on and so forth. No, I'm talking about other things that get involved. Stuff that when this all started, and I spoke to everyone and said, what goes down in WU, let that happen over there. This is something new, something different, something to be a character in, and you don't have the burdens of what goes down in WU. I was also very strong in pointing out that when this became too stressful, when it was no longer fun, that I was going to quit, that I would stop doing what I do. And I did. And for the most part, that will stay true. RWO will stay alive, but probably only a monthly show. I'm not going to promise you that you're going to be on every show. I'm not going to promise you that you're even going to be on the roster anymore. I won't even guarantee you that you're going to have a big part in the show. I can't do that. Now, when it comes down to it, there's a lot of things that have happened recently and even in the past that have kept on irking me. This is why I'm going about it this way. Trust me in what I do. Trust me in my thought process. Trust me with your characters. Now, for the most part, I wouldn't really need to ask for that, because for the most part, I've created most of the characters. You guys gave me the background. You guys gave me ideas to roll with for the character itself, how they were supposed to look, but I created those. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand I have respect for you guys. I have love for you guys, and I trust you. And I trust that you guys believe I can do right by you. Let me tell you the story of the wasteland. Let me tell you the story of the people residing in that wasteland. That is going to be entertaining. That is going to see a pivotal point in what we do here on YouTube. Now, I'm not the most happy looking guy all the time. I am happy though. I am. And being able to shed some of these things that have been piling up over the course of a year has kind of eased my shoulders a little bit. I'm going to tell you right now, I was so stressed out. I've been having migraines, which I haven't had in years. I haven't had migraines since, the first 4 years after I was hit by the drunk driver. And that was from all the damage that was done to my brain pan. Being that stressed out like I have been, and it hasn't, and I'm not putting this all on you. I'm not. But having all that stress locked up inside of me, I couldn't rest anymore. So let me do what I do best. Tell a story. I'm going to tell the story of some of these characters that we have brought to life in RWO. I'm going to tell you the story of their triumphs, their downfalls, their careers, and yes, the characters I have very, very new to the wasteland. But I've got backstories on all of them, or at least 90% of them. Let me bring you your character and put them in a light you've never seen them before. I promise you, it's going to be entertaining. I promise you, when I start and hit that play button, I hit that live stream button, I am going to bring you a show unlike any that you have seen here on Pillar to Post yet. I will have a story for each match. I will have a reason for why what goes on in the show goes down. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I want to show you what goes on in this mind when I put together a show and I'm not tethered with worry over, am I going to offend this person? Am I going to offend that person? Come to the show as a wrestling fan. Don't expect to be showcased. Don't expect to be catered to. Expect a show. Expect entertainment. Expect a storyline that makes sense around your character or the characters that are being utilized. In 2 weeks, RWO will return for one show every month. RWO will return in a new light and in a new way. I want to give something to you that you guys have yet to experience. Don't bring WU matters into RWO, into Pillar to Post. If there is some kind of connection between characters, I will make sure I play that out. But the lovey-dovey bullshit you will not see in RWO. This is the wasteland, people. Think of it as going back in time, but going to the future. If there was a wasteland scenario in the real world, do you think people would be cuddled up by a fire, making love, having babies? No. There would be chaos. There would be worry for your very life. There would be a time where women would be viewed as slaves. This is why I brought to life the Amazons. A warrior sect of women ready to band together, go to war, and make sure that women were treated a little bit differently than as slaves. But there are going to be those instances where I pair a woman up with a man, and a man is basically dictating to her where she needs to stand, where she needs to be during the match. And I will voice that in my commentary. I will make sure that there is a clear-cut face, heel, and that character that treads that gray line. I want to give you a chance to be a wrestling fan. So, join me in 2 weeks. Renegade Wrestling Organization returns. Not for good, but in a whole new light. I asked for 2 weeks because this way it gives me time to put together everything I need to, and still gives me time to work on everything I need to in the real world. Get ready, folks. Get ready to strap one on. Get ready to take that bumpy road down the dirt road. It's time I give you the real Renegade Wrestling Organization. Until then, though, do me a favor. Tune in to Bomb Pop Overdrive, because tonight we're at the Whiskey A Go-Go with some Midwest Pro Wrestling motherfuckers, and we are going to bring it hard, and we're going to bring it just a little bit rough. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Pete Wall. Have a great night, and as you can hear, the dragon has awoke, and that's a clear sign I need to cut, and I need to boogie on over. Thank you very much. Have a great night. Have a better tomorrow. I'm out of here.